I was some months into a very ugly divorce after being married 11 years. I felt like I should start thinking about what it would be like to date eventually, and I saw a reference to OKCupid on Ars Technica, and thought I'd start doing the questionnaires as a way to think about that. I accidentally had my profile searchable or something, and I started to get some date requests, and eventually went on a few. The first was intense, but she reconnected with her soulmate a few days later. The second was a nice, interesting person. We went on a couple of dates and had a nice time, but there wasn't a whole lot of chemistry. The third was with someone who was very awesome in theory, but I couldn't stand how negatively she talked about her daughter. There was this one A-list woman who kept popping up as a potential match for me, with the awesome screen name of SaunterScamper. However, she was clearly way too together and clear about what she wanted for the mess I was at that point. But a few weeks later I was logged in and got the message she was looking at my profile, so in a brief whim of bravery, I IM'd her. We both quickly realized that there was no way she should date, but she was a mental health professional who had some great tips about how I could craft my profile to make it less interesting to people with personality disorders. So we IM'd about that for a while. And then it was 3 hours later. And as I reread her profile, I realized that other than the horrible divorce station, I actually was a perfect match for all her desired qualities. After probably 6 hours of IM and a couple hours on the phone, we went on a first date when someone else canceled on her. Which was going to be just dinner, but we then walked the full Broadway Bridge to Hawthorne Bridge round trip around Portland, saw date night in the theater, and hung out for a while at my place, then hers. That was pretty awesome. Then there was a second date, and then they weren't dates as much as what we do. Some months in she met my kids. Later we moved in with her when I started actually getting the parenting time I was ordered, and my apartment was just too small. Then we got married, finished and moved into a remodeling project that had been stalled by the divorce. And then we wound up having the kids almost all of the time, and she became a great stepmom and co-parent for our kids. I was definitely crazy lucky. Most people can't expect to find the wife of their dreams on their fourth first date. My wife had spent over a year doing online dating with dozens of first dates before we met, which seems more typical. I am a big fan of OKCupid and its matching approach, as both a customer and statistical nerd. That said, my wife had the lowest match percentage of the dates I went on. And in a crazy moment, my ex-wife showed up with the highest match percentage of anyone. So, don't focus on those numbers too much. Someone with strong opinions and a strong personality is likely to lower match